Welcome back, guys. It is craft time. Let's go ahead and get started. To begin this video, I am just going to give a little life update because I did not mean to kind of skip out on my channel for as long as I did. So if you are not interested in that or not a subscriber of mine who cares, that is okay. I will put on here the timestamp of when to skip forward to start in on the project. So if you are a subscriber or follower of mine, you know that I was pregnant with my beautiful baby boy and I just needed to prep and get ready for him. I had a lot of moving to get done, a lot of work, a lot of projects, and things to be able to welcome him into the world. And on top of that, I was a high-risk pregnancy, so I had multiple appointments throughout the week, on top of my daughter's also needs and appointments and things we had. So it was a lot, and I just had to give somewhere, and unfortunately that was my craft channel. So I took a bit of a break and it stuck around a little longer than I planned, but I have no regrets because it's given me a little extra time to really be a present mom, and I have been absolutely loving it. Spending the summer with my babies and just soaking up all the time we have with them. But it is time for me to put some focus back on the other things that I love, which include crafting and creating and sharing that with you all. So this video is going to be me making a welcome sign, and it's just a nice, neutral, easy thing to get me started back in. It's actually something that I purchased in order to welcome all the people who I knew would be coming into our home to meet our new little man, and it just never happened. So I decided I am going to make this sign. It's gonna kickstart my creativity and we're gonna get back to it. So I'm just gonna walk you through where I got the stuff, what stuff I used, and how I did it. To start this project off, I had picked up this wood round and this welcome cutout sign from Hobby Lobby during one of their 50% off sales, and we're going to prep them for painting. So for the big round sign, I'm just going to remove any stickers. I typically would remove the rope hanger, but since this is for me, I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to get as close to it as possible whenever I begin to stain it. And then for the welcome sign, I'm going to remove that rope hanger so that I can fill in those holes with some wood filler. That way the holes aren't present because I'm going to be attaching these two pieces together. To start off, I'm going to have some antiquing wax that I've already previously watered down. I kind of store it like this, and I'm going to stain this piece of wood. Now, I started in with a brush, but I don't have time for this, so I just grabbed an old washcloth, and I'm going to just stain it using that, just rubbing it in well, and taking away any of the excess as I go. And I'm just going to do that the front, back, and the sides. As that's drying, I'm going to get out some black paint and I'm going to paint this welcome sign black. At this point, I have filled those holes and sanded them back down to make sure they're nice and flat. So I'm going to take this makeup brush that I got from the Dollar Tree. It is very soft, and I'm just going to tap it into the paint and then slowly, in circular motions or back and forth motions, rub this paint into the wood. This is going to keep there from being any paint buildup or any goopy spots. And I'm just going to do this all over until it's fully covered, including the sides of the lettering. This is an option for you if you want to do it, but I think it just looks a little bit, I don't know, better or complete with the sides also done. We're going to set that back to the side and we're going to start in on our sign. I'm just going to grab my ruler here and I'm going to do some quick measurements just to find the center, and then also just make a couple marks to make sure that my tape is straight all the way across. I want to do that for the top and bottom. I'm going to do a color block of black on the top and bottom and then white in the middle. And so I'm going to start with that painter's tape, making sure it's even all the way across, that my hanger is in the center at the top. If I get it slightly off, I can remove that hanger and reattach it, so it's not the end of the world, but I'd rather just get it centered now. So I'm going to go ahead and put that tape line down, and then at this point, if you're worried about any paint bleeding through underneath, you can paint the edge of that paint the edge of the painter's tape with the same color as your base coat, or in my case, because I stained it, I would use a clear coat, but I'm not going to worry about it at this time. I'm just going to do a nice thin coat all over, making sure I don't have any excess paint that could go under there. But if you want to make sure that you don't run into that issue, that's the way that you could do it, because it will have the same color or clear, and if that bled under, once you go to do your next one, you'll pull it off and have a nice crisp clean line. So anyway, I'm going to finish painting the black on the top and bottom, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab some tape and start taping off for the white. Now, I want my white to go right up next to that black. So I am going to lay my tape directly next to the tape that I already have down. This is going to make sure that it's going to stay in a straight line. And I'm just going to make sure that it's even with it all the way across, but not overlapping at all. And that's going to be the width of the stripe that I'm going to paint. Once that piece is down, I'm going to take another piece and put it across the top, making sure that, again, it's touching it, but not overlapping. Once those are down and secured, I'm going to remove that tape from the middle, and that's where I'm going to paint my line. I'm going to repeat that same process for the second line, only I'm going to reuse one of the pieces of tape that I just removed. Now it's time to go ahead and do a color block of the white, and I'm just going to give it two nice thin even coats. Again, I did not do the sealing of the tape line. If you wanted to do that, again, use the same color as your base coat and or a clear coat at this point, since my two color blocks are going to match up completely. And then I didn't mention, but when I put that tape across, I went ahead and went around the edge as well, because I am painting the sides of my sign as well. That way, if you look at it from an angle, you can see those color blocks kind of circling around the sign as well. From there, I'm going to let it dry, remove the tape, and I am going to be tracing the line where the two colors meet, just to make it a little more crisp and clear. I want to do this on my welcome sign and on the black and white where they meet. So I'm just going to use a ruler, and I am going to lay it across, make sure everything's lined up. Use my Krylon 18 karat gold pin, and we're going to make some lines. Now, I love this pin, not just in this color. I originally thought I still had silver left. I don't. I need to reorder. So we're doing gold, but these pins are amazing. They have great coverage, and they're so shiny. So those are linked in my description on my Amazon affiliates if you were interested. I'm just going to keep going across, making sure that I'm making a nice even line and getting it all covered. And I'm going to do that on the top and bottom, and then come back through and trace it one more time with one continuous line so it doesn't have any weird sheens and that everything is nice and covered. And then I'm going to go in on the welcome sign, and all I'm doing is laying the edge on the edge of the welcome sign, the middle of the marker. And what that's going to do, it's going to leave me that gold on the top and on the side, and it's just going to make it look really complete and uniform. It'll kind of guide itself to where I don't have to worry about if the lines are super even or the same thickness throughout the entire project. So I'm just going to do that all over the edges and all of the inner corners the best that I can get, and then I'm going to let that dry. Once that's dry, it's time to attach the welcome to the wooden round, and we're going to do that with some of my STARBOND glue, and it does have an accelerator, so this will attach immediately. What you do is you put your glue on. You want to make sure you don't put too much to where it spills out the sides, but on one piece, and then spray the second piece. So to control the glue and know it's going exactly where I want it to, I'm putting it on the welcome sign, and then I'm going to spray my accelerator onto the white patch that I want it to stick to. Now I've already kind of like laid out and had an idea where I want it to go. I'm just going to flip it down, and then I'm going to hold pressure, put some stuff on there to add some weight for a good 15 to 20 seconds. And then once I remove my hands and the extra weight, it will be completely attached. If you want to, at this point, seal your project, I always suggest it. It's a very good idea to do it. I typically would have sealed it with some polyacrylic, or if it's going outside, I usually will do polyacrylic and then give it a nice good spray with some Rust-Oleum 2X clear coat, just to make sure that it's protected from the elements. Since this is for me and it's going in between my screen door. I'm not going to worry about sealing it at this point, but mostly just because I'm in a time crunch with my kiddos. So I'm going to go ahead and start in with the embellishments. I'm just doing the typical greenery with some flowers and a bow on the top. I'm just going to pull it. I wanted to keep this very neutral because my home, like colors and stuff, it matches any of it, but also so I can keep it out year round. With the neutral colors, I don't have to worry about being specific to any holiday or any time of the year so that I can get more use out of it. I typically don't decorate my door outside of fall and Christmas, so this is going to work really well for me. I'm just going to play around with some greenery. I always do a dry run, just kind of lay things out to see how I like them so I can get an idea of what it's going to look like, where it's going to lay, and then also how I want a bow to be attached. I'm just going to do a like rag bow or messy bow. I'm just going to pick whatever ribbons that I want, starting from thicker to longer in the back, getting less thick and shorter to the front. I think that tapered look makes it look really good. In this case, I am using some wired ribbon. That way it holds shape a little bit better. However, you can use anything that you have, an old t-shirt if you like the pattern, fabric, ribbon, whatever you want, and it looks really cute. So once I get, the kind of flow and look of what I want, I'm going to start building my ribbon. So I'm going to cut them down into the lengths that I want. And then I'm going to cut out a little triangle on each end just to make it a little more decorative. And then I'm going to start with my largest ribbon in the back, laying it out in an X pattern, building it up to the smaller ones that I want for the front. And once I'm there in that X pattern, I'm going to pinch the middle and then wrap the middle up with some floral wire. Now you can use a pipe cleaner, floral wire, zip tie, another piece of ribbon, whatever you want to do here. And you're just going to cinch it down nice and tight. And then from there, you can either cut off the ties if you're not going to use them or save them so that you can attach it to your project. If I were tying this bow to the actual rope hanger, I would keep them so that I can just attach them that way. But since I'm going to be putting this down onto the actual sign, I'm not going to keep them. I'm also going to wrap them up with some of the matching ribbon just to hide that floral wire, so that it all just looks uniform and good. And then I'm going to start actually attaching things. I'm going to start with the outside greenery, and I'm just going to use my staple gun since this sign is nice and thick. And I'm going to staple those on. That way, even if they get heated up in between that door, they're not going to just fall off from it just being hot glued on. As I build it on, I'm going to add this nice, beautiful, big white flower. I'm going to staple that down. I'm going to staple my bow down, and I'm just going to keep stapling and building this as I see fit on what I think looks best. And that is it. A nice, easy sign to begin and to be back to this channel. I'm so excited to start creating for you guys again and for myself. I've really, really missed it. So let me know what you think about this. Leave me your favorite emoji in the comments to let me know that you've enjoyed this, and I hope that it was helpful in helping help you guys create. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in. If you enjoyed this video and this content or are happy to see this channel moving again, give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. A lot of you who come and visit my channel, though I'm so glad you are here, are not subscribed, and the subscriptions really do help push my stuff out onto the platform to let people know that you like what's going on here. So I appreciate you coming here. I'm going to take you guys in for a closer look, and I'll